Oh.
Hang on one second. Heather texted me. Her arrival time is 6:32. I told her we'll be all set when she shows up.
6:32.
Good. All right, we're good.
All right. Call the meeting to order. We'll do roll call. Mike Bollier.
Michael Boyer, Hebrew.
Over there. Mike Sharon.
Mike Sharon, Hebron.
Joe Coletti.
Joe Coletti, Hebron.
Kirsten Erlinson.
Kirsten Erlinson, Andover.
Pam Farrington.
Pam Farrington, Marlboro.
Carrie Farlino. Drew Golphin.
Drew Golphin, Marlboro.
Gabe Marks.
Gabe Marks, Hebron.
Amy Romanchuk. Marlboro. Scott Soyette.
Scott Soya, Andover.
And Heather Summer from Hebron. So if we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is this my section?
Yep.
Tonight's public hearing is an opportunity to present and discuss the Regional School District 8 proposed operating and capital budget for 2025-2026. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to Dr. McNamara to present the proposed budget.
Good evening, everybody, and very excited to be at this point in the budget process. We're going to give Aaron just a minute to pull up the slide deck. I do have hard copies in front of each of the board members, and I sent it out electronically to anybody attending virtually. This is a version of the original presentation that I had presented initially in January and then done in subsequent meetings in the different towns. But obviously there's been adjustments made since as we've gone through the process. So I'll just go through my slides, and then if people have questions after, we can certainly entertain any of those questions. I am pleased to present the updated proposed administrative budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year for Regional School District 8. The proposed budget will support the district's mission and vision of partnering with families and the community to provide our students with a high-quality education in a welcoming, safe, and equitable environment. The proposed budget also supports the work of all district staff focused on ensuring that RHAM graduates have the skills and dispositions necessary to be successful in life beyond high school. These skills and dispositions include critical thinking, motivation, communication, integrity, and collaboration. This budget was built with several priorities in mind. First, the budget supports the implementation of the goals identified in the district's strategic plan. These goals focus on improving the areas of instruction, talent management, climate and culture, and organizational systems. The budget also supports the academic and social and emotional needs of students and enables us to maintain a program of studies with a variety of course offerings and career pathways that ensure RHAM students are college and career ready upon graduation. Finally, it enables us to improve and maintain the district's facilities and grounds. The proposed budget for fiscal year 25-26 is $32,620,487 and represents an overall budget increase of a 2.6%. This amount is a combination of a net operating budget of $32,054,487 and a capital budget of $565,487. This proposed increase is amongst the lowest in the state, where the average percentage increase proposed to a Board of Education is currently at 5.35% based on data from the Connecticut Association of School Business Officials. This data currently shows that there are only 5 districts in Connecticut with a proposed budget that has a lower percentage increase than ours. Since initially proposing a 4.3% budget increase to the Region 8 Board in January, efforts have been made to reduce the original proposal. $443,414 has been removed from the budget that was initially proposed. This amount is a combination of $282,790 from capital and $160,624 from operating. Furthermore, a math teaching position was eliminated. Salary and benefits for this position equate to an additional $133,000 in reductions from the budget. The member town levy paid by each town is determined by the percentage of students enrolled from each town as of October 1st. The percentage of students enrolled in RHAM Middle School and High School from both Andover and Marlboro has declined, while the percentage of students from Hebron has increased. This shift in enrollment has decreased the levy for Andover and Marlboro, but increased Hebron's. The audit for the Region 8 23-24 budget was finalized and presented, as you know, to the board in February. The surplus from last year will reduce each town's levy payment for next year's budget through a credit offset. This surplus is the result of a variety of factors, including unfilled vacancies, new staff hired at lower salaries, a substitute bus driver shortage, routinely resulting in combined runs, outplaced students returning to district, which is something we're always striving for, and a reduction in contracted services for students. In total, the surplus of $1,383,719 will be divided in 2 ways. Region 8 will maintain the equivalent of 2% of last year's total budget to help pay for a large-scale capital project of the track. The remaining $758,120 will be divided between the 3 feeding towns and applied as a credit offset for next year's budget. This chart provides the positive impact of the credit offset, which when applied to each member town levies. As you can see, Andover's levy will be reduced by $101,816 due to the credit offset for a total reduction of $134,374. Hebron's levy will be reduced by $379,060 for an increase of $670,173. And Marlboro's levy will be reduced by an additional $277,245 to a total reduction of $467,554. There are several drivers increasing the proposed budget over the current years. Significant budget drivers include health insurance, which is currently budgeted now at 7%, contractual salary increases, special education purchase services, technology, hardware and software, transportation, and utility costs. The budget also includes significant reductions from the current year. The notable reductions include special education outplacements, special education transportation, and fuel costs. Another significant budget driver is our newly established partnership with the Columbia Board of Education, which makes RHAM High School a school of choice for incoming freshmen from Columbia beginning next school year. For each Columbia student attending RHAM, Columbia will pay a base tuition of $15,124 plus any additional costs associated with specialized instruction or services provided to students with identified needs. Columbia will be responsible for all transportation costs of their students. The tuition that is paid by Columbia is factored into the Region 8 budget as revenue and reduces the member town levy paid towards our budget by Andover, Hebron, and Marlboro. It currently reflects, and it will reflect for all of the year because we now know the students, it reflects a total of 9 Columbia students attending RHAM High School for next year. I would be remiss if I didn't highlight the budgetary impact of our annual debt payment paid towards the principal and interest of school construction and renovation projects from over 20 years ago. During last year's budget season, we realized a $655,900 reduction in the debt bond payment from the previous year. This was a significant reduction on our budget from previous fiscal years. For next year and the year after, we will see nominal changes in the debt payment until it is paid off at the conclusion of the 26-27 fiscal year. I've noted it before, and I want to note it again, that we are faced with numerous high-cost projects in the very near future that will require bonding. These projects include a new roof for both schools, replacing the boilers, chillers, and HVAC controls, new fire and security systems, a new loading dock area, and replacing the tennis courts and adjacent fencing. The total cost for these projects will be over $10.5 million, and it is critical that these projects are done in a timely manner in order to maintain the safety and integrity of our buildings and grounds. This chart shows the percentage distribution of the proposed budget by each object category in relation to the total budget. As you can see, 73% of the proposed operating budget is allocated towards employee salaries and benefits. These are fixed costs associated with staffing the schools. The funds proposed for next year's capital budget represent a small percent of our actual needs. The development of the capital budget was a collaborative effort between district administration and members of the facilities and finance subcommittees. The proposed capital budget is $565,487, which is $65,710 higher than the current year's budget. The proposed capital budget will enable the district to continue to address ongoing sidewalk repairs and the replacement of the track. The track is over 20 years old and has already been resurfaced. Due to the poor condition of the track, it will not be used for competition during this current spring track season, as all competitions have to be held for middle school and high school track programs have to be held at opposing teams' venues. The proposed track replacement project includes replacing the foundation of the track, the installation of D zones for field events, the replacement of fencing, and the relocation of the scoreboard. While the projected cost of the track is $1,584,330 is significant, the board's strategic establishment and use of the capital non-recurring account using surplus funds will lessen the financial impact of the track project in our towns. There is currently a balance of $433,244 of unallocated capital funds available. As I noted earlier, the availability of 2% of last year's Region 8 budget, $625,599, is also available in the district's educational expenditures fund and will also be used to offset the cost of the track. The total available in current funding sources will pay for the majority of the track project, but requires an additional $525,487 to complete. Should this project not be funded, we expect to not be able to allow our student athletes or members of the community who frequently use the track to have access to the track next school year due to safety concerns. This table provides a history of budget increases for Region 8. As you can see, the district has a demonstrated history of fiscal responsibility. School districts across the state and country are contending with rising costs and challenging economic times, and I am pleased to present that the proposed budget is a reasonable increase considering these factors, and as I noted earlier, one of the lowest in the states. This table provides the per pupil expenditure for secondary regional school district. As I've noted in previous presentations, we continue to provide a high quality educational experience for our students at a cost that is amongst the lowest in the states for secondary regional districts. This graph shows the district's enrollment on October 1 since 2015, as well as the projected enrollment through the 2034-2035 school year. For the October 2024 report to the state, district enrollment was 1,078 students. As you can see, current projections indicate that enrollment will decrease slightly next year before leveling off and then increasing to numbers exceeding our current enrollment by 2035. The October 1, 2024 enrollment at RHAM Middle School was 354 students. Enrollment at the middle school is projected to remain steady for the next few years before increasing to in the 2028-2029 school year. The October 1, 2024 enrollment at RHAM High School was 724 students. High school enrollment is projected to experience a decrease in enrollment through the 27-28 school year before gradually increasing and eventually surpassing current enrollment in 31-32. These projections do not factor in Columbia students who will be attending RHAM. It is important to note that over the next 10 years, the elementary districts feeding into RHAM are projected to increase their combined enrollments by approximately 200 students. This graph shows the projected combined elementary enrollment of Andover, Hebron, and Marlboro through the 2034-2035 fiscal year. The projected enrollment growth at the elementary school districts that feed into RHAM indicate RHAM enrollment will continue to grow beyond our current 10-year projections. The proposed budget also includes 3 safety and security offers to work collaboratively, in both schools. These positions will improve the security posture of the district, collaborating with our school resource officer, administration, and hallway monitors, and help the front office staff manage visitors accessing the building. The budget also includes the addition of an athletic trainer. We have been using independent contractors to meet our athletic training needs for the current school year, and we are currently working to identify a candidate to serve in this capacity on a full-time basis. It is in the best interest of student athletes and coaches to have a full-time dedicated staff employee to serve in this capacity to ensure consistency and continuity of care. And this board, and we appreciate the board's support in hiring an athletic trainer to do that. The resignation of a teacher late last spring led to the elimination of the Latin program. Since the resignation was given after the adoption of the current year's budget, the elimination of the position is reflected in the budget for the upcoming school year. And as I noted earlier, the budget also reflects the reduction of a math teaching position at RHAM High School. And it also reflects 2 special ed paraeducators. These are current vacancies that we have had it's been challenging to fill, and we can currently meet student needs without those positions. I felt it would be important to highlight the return on the community's investment into our district, as RHAM Middle and High School provide tremendous opportunities to our students. At the high school, our students perform at levels that are well above state averages in standardized assessments and have the opportunity for a more personalized learning experience with the inquiry team. At the high school, our students can choose over 250 course offerings and 25 career pathways. The program of studies currently offers 33 dual enrollment opportunities for students to earn college credits, as well as career and technical education courses, which provide desirable skills and prepare graduates to immediately enter the workforce in high-paying careers. Students continually achieve at high levels and find success in AP classes and score well above state and national average SAT scores. RHAM High School annually ranks as one of the top schools in the state by U.S. and News World Reports based on a variety of metrics. RHAM also provides a high-quality experience for students beyond academic achievement, as it has been recognized as a best community for music education for 8 consecutive years. Our fine and performing arts programs and classes enable students to achieve at high levels and be recognized statewide and nationally for their hard work and talents. RHAM students are also provided with opportunities to develop their skills and excel as student athletes. Last year, RHAM had 3 state championship teams, 2 state runner-ups, and 6 CCC division champions. Numerous student athletes earned individual acclaim as state, all-conference, and triple threat athletes. The proposed administrative budget reflects the effort of the district and school administration, department coordinators, and other staff to put forward a responsible budget that maintains the high-quality educational programming and facilities that the RHAM community has come to expect. It is the result of several months of collaboration between school and district administrators, department coordinators, and staff, and the Region 8 Board of Education as well, and is intended to provide the community with a clear understanding of the district's programs and priorities. The administration, staff, and Regional School District 8 Board of Education are grateful for the support of the communities of Hebron, Andover, and Marlborough for what they provide to ensure our students are receiving a high-quality education which prepares them to make meaningful contributions to society. I want to thank you all for your collaborative efforts to support the work that we have done since my initial proposal of the budget in January. Since that time, as I've noted earlier, we've reduced in total by almost $575,000 to this increase where I'm proposing today of a 2.6%. As I previously noted, this is amongst the lowest in the state and is well below the state average of 5.35. That concludes my presentation, and I can try my best to answer any questions that members of the board or members of the public may have.
Is there anybody online that has a question for Colin regarding the budget?
Just raise your hand. Raise your digital hand if you do that. That way we know you have a question. Nobody?
Okay, anybody in the room have any questions?
Are comments allowed?
Please.
You missed us, didn't you? You couldn't keep away.
I could not keep it away.
That'd be great.
Go over, because then they'll catch it online, your remarks.
First, please excuse my casual appearance tonight.
Can you just state your name and town for the recording?
A couple of things. Not so many years ago.
Name and address, Eric.
Pardon me?
Name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Eric Shevchenko, Bunker Hill Road, Andover. Not so many years ago, Andover made up 18% of the students at RHAM. And in very recent years, that's fallen precipitously to, I see from your handout, we're down to 13%. And our elementary school, which could handle as many as 300 students, was down below 200. One of the reactions to that was to offer education to younger students. So there's a very active preschool program now. And the good news, as I see it, is that there are numbers of children that are now at Andover Elementary in significantly increased numbers, but at the very earliest stage. So eventually, I look forward to us representing a greater percentage of RHAM, in the future. But I think that's going to take a number of years to get there. I view the budget as very responsible. I have no objections to it. I have one other comment, and that is regarding the safety/security officers that are being added. We've had in other towns nearby, we've had a tragedy or two with safety officers, if I can call it that, or police officers in the school where they betrayed their trust and were actually arrested for inappropriate contact with minors. So what I would encourage the board to do would be to vet these people very, very carefully. Perhaps as a suggestion, if you're still using Shipman, perhaps they can help with brainstorming or maybe even advising how this can be done to preclude that type of tragedy here at RHAM, which is one of the worst things I can imagine happening to a school. So that's what I have. Thank you all for your work here. And I think you're doing a great job. And that's it for tonight.
Thanks, Eric. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Colin on the budget?
I just had, you sort of answered it about Columbia. I just want to know in the future if you had any ideas as to how we could better project the enrollment to include Columbia students, what strategies could be used to sort of help that assessment.
Sure. So, obviously this is the first year that the partnership has existed. What I did was I took some anecdotal feedback in order for us to come up with the initial projection that we had come up with, which was 10 students, I believe, right? So we were off by 2 with regards to our incoming freshmen. The board may remember that there's currently a Columbia student who transitioned from living in district to going to Columbia, so we're allowing that student to stay on. It just made sense. We wouldn't want to disrupt that student's education. But I do believe that as time goes on, we're going to get a better sense of things. We will certainly continue to work collaboratively with the Columbia administration to survey families to get a better sense of students at different grade levels as they continue to matriculate up. Like, is interest in RHAM increasing, as I believe that it will over time. I may have said this publicly before. I apologize if I'm repeating myself. I believe that I'm thrilled with the number that we have coming in this year. It's basically close to $150,000 of revenue that is helping reduce the levies of each of the 3 towns. But I am fairly confident that that number is going to increase. I think the number of incoming freshmen is going to be greater for a host of reasons. Number one, I think that as the longer the partnership is established, the more positive things are going to be said within the Columbia community about the partnership and students' experiences here. That's number one. Number two, we will continue to partner with Columbia when possible, even outside of the high school realm. One of the things that I think I've informed the board about was we had a gentleman come in and do a presentation on social media and social media safety. And we wanted to get our early learners. We actually brought 6th graders from the 3 elementary schools. So I reached out to Columbia and I said, why don't you guys send your 6th graders over? We were doing it for 7th and 8th graders too. And I said, send your 7th and 8th graders. The more that the kids come in here and experience opportunities at RHAM, I think numbers will grow. I haven't had this chance to speak with members of the staff yet, but I do want to talk about, like, what are other opportunities that we could say, let's get Columbia kids in and have them be a part of things that are going on in RHAM. So, I will certainly work with their administrative staff to do both formal and informal surveys, conversations with parents. I'll continue to make myself available at their Board of Education meetings, go to their PTO meetings. A big part of this partnership now for me is marketing the district and trying to, basically explain to parents and students why it's a good place to come. So there's going to be a lot of different ways that we do it, but I think that, both formal forms of metrics such as surveys that are sent out to Columbia families is certainly going to be something. But the reality is we won't know until that time in early March when they have to make that firm decision.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Do you know how many students graduate from Columbia approximately each year?
Yeah, so from what I was told, if I'm remembering correctly, usually around 40-ish is what they graduate out of Cincinnati.
Anybody else? Okay, so that's going to conclude the public hearing portion. We will convene a special meeting immediately following the conclusion of the public hearing to consider the adoption of the proposed budget. So we're going to have to adjourn, and then we're going to have to go back.
Move to adjourn.
Scott Soyet, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mike Bollier, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
So we're done with this